Well, I was very discussed last week. It was the most discussed thing on Inside 50. It was Andrew May's shirt. If you saw it last week, you know how terrible it was. Well, he's outdone himself this week. I'm going to put him on the camera right now. The Doctor, definitely not a fashion, Mr. Andrew Mays. Come on screen, buddy. Have a look at that. Is that an island holiday job, mate, or what do you call that?
It's actually the Gazman weekend.
Is it now, yeah? I like it.
8 games, 50 seconds.
Well, what are you doing, mate? I do that.
Yeah, you usually do it. But I thought, seeing as I've got the
No,
extra effort tonight,
I always do it, and you won't be doing it in that shirt. 8 games, 50 seconds. This is Inside 50.
I'm a sailor, pay!
Seriously, it's not for here.
Well, it's in the ceiling. We should call it Inside 50.
Mate, Craig
with Mitch
Craig
Jones.
Hutchison wouldn't wear that.
Oh, jeez.
Archie would put that to rest.
First game this week is the D's and the Dogs at the G-Banger, Mitch.
Cheap banger! That's why I'm the star of the show, mate, because you say things like that. Let's talk about this. He's not happy with that. Let's talk about the Dogs. Well, what can you say after last week? The Doggy Wobbles are the new Collie Wobbles,
like
Andy.
that, like
the Doggy Wobbles, yeah.
Like
the Doggy Waggles. Sure it wasn't a prelim. 3 of them they've choked in a row, but it was a big game against the arch rival St Kilda, who they can't seem to put away when it really matters. I'll tell you what, all the training for the Dogs this season, Andy, has to be between the ears, mate, because they've got the skills, they've got the flash, they've got the forwards, they've got the backs, they've got the mids. They just haven't got the mental capacity to win the games that matter, Andy.
Yep. D-Bangers, Mitcho.
The D-Bangers, he's done it again. Have you got a hot date tonight or something, mate? You've got an affinity with bangers tonight.
Sadly, I haven't had a hot date in a very long time.
We'll talk about that afterwards, mate. The Demons, they shortened into $3 after they took care of Brisbane. Everyone was getting a little bit carried away. Back out to $4.50. We know young teams do it, Andy. They're up and down all season.
Yeah, like
the performance really fluctuates and seesaws. We saw Essendon do it last year. They beat St Kilda one week, come out and get smashed by North Melbourne the last week. You just know that it's going to happen. However, they're going to be exciting. They're going to give them fans something to cheer about. And I think 8 or 9 games is realistically where the D's are at. A team you can get carried away with, though, in our next game is a very polished Collingwood taking on North Melbourne at the G on Saturday.
Very polished indeed, Mitch. Over 50 points has been the margin against Essendon and Carlton in the last 2 weeks. Pies will be too good again this week for the Roos. They halted the Melbourne bandwagon last week to the tune of 26 points. But the problem matching up with Collingwood is their depth runs so deep that if you're not Geelong or St Kilda, you need a match winner to get over the line.
I don't know about that, Andy. I'd say Carlton have one of the biggest match winners in the business in Sir Judd.
Sir Judd,
yep. Sir Judd. We call him Sir on this show now, didn't we? We officially knighted him. Inside 50 knighted him.
A lot of bald men get knighted.
Well, they've got the match breaker, but it didn't matter. They really nullified Chris Judd last week, mate.
Yeah, look, I can't see where the Roos can get on top. Pies midfield runs so deep, and Mitch, I love throwing names at you.
Throw some at me.
Throw some more.
Right in the face.
Still side bottom.
Love him.
Dame Beams.
Like him.
Sharrod Wellingham.
Yeah.
Couldn't afford a J.
I'll tell you what, they are good players, mate. They can all finish. And that is the thing that separates the could-be's from the made-its. No. They're polished finishers, those 3. They had 5 between them last week, and they were really good.
Yeah, they were. The side seems... I've lost it.
You've lost it,
The side seems one pace, but their ferocity...
Get on with it.
For the first time in his life, Daniel Wells has put a few consistent games together. The Roos are at 450, the Pies are 120, and that's pretty accurate for mine, Mitch.
We don't know if we should carry on filming or not. It's borderline. Carry on? We're going to carry on. Yeah, look, the Roos are right on track, Andy, but the Pies, they're the benchmark of the competition right now, no doubt about that. The fans are going nuts with every right to be Pies by about 6 goals for me, Andy.
Pies are too good at the G. They'll win by 40 plus. That's paying $2.40. My bet of the week, sponsored by A1 Office Fit Outs.
Bet of the week.
Now you're up, Mitcho. The Saturday game, it's the Hawks and the Eagles.
Yeah, well, Andy, the producers have been on our back to
massive production
really streamline the program. So we're not going to give this game too much respect because it's 2 bottom 4 sides for mine. Just a tip for me and a little bit of an I told you so, Andy. You said Hawks top 4. I said Hawks 9 for 10th. Mitch 1. The Doctor 0. I think the Hawks will go 1 and 6, and the Eagles will win very comfortably.
Yeah, Eagles for mine. Buddy's proppy. Mitchell's still out.
Chance to miss, Buddy, is he?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think he'll play.
Okay.
My sources tell me so.
Yep.
Heinz sources.
He has no sources.
160 the Eagles, 225 the Hawks. If you want to have a look.
Yep.
Good to see the Hawks re-sign their captain Mitchell, Bud, and the Rough. But I don't know about the 4 years that they go.
4 years, not in modern football.
4 years for the
What were you
Rough.
doing 4 years ago, mate? It's a
I don't
long
know.
time. Let's talk about Essendon and the Bombers at Etihad
Well,
Stadium.
Port, they continue to defy the odds. Looks like Choco's smiling a lot more this year because when he's an angry man, I'll give you the tip. Not a nice man
Stay
to be
away.
around.
Stay away.
Very angry.
Get
man.
out of there.
One of the best way to look at how a team's travelling is having a look at their emergencies. If you look at these two teams on the weekend, they're a little bit light on.
Okay.
So that suggests these two teams will still be up and down for a little while yet. The Bombers will have to be fired up. Expect Prismal and the midfield brigade to have a tougher time against the likes of Corns and Salopek and
Want to throw one at
Cassisi
you?
this
Want to
week.
throw one at
Yeah.
you? First time ever, same player leading the AFL in loose ball gets and hard ball gets.
Mhm.
Mr. Joe Watson. Having a great season, mate.
He is, yeah.
He's really
true
up there.
leader, actually.
Yeah.
Hawthorn were as soft as a warm knife through butter last week,
Were they?
so yeah, it'll be a different test for the Dons. Hurley and Gumby getting better every week, but hey, cool your jets. Essendon fans, beware, they're going to be inconsistent, so just relax.
Yeah, look,
Relax.
inconsistency. These two teams are the hardest two teams to tip in the whole competition.
On
They
and
are
off like a bride's
They are
Nike.
so up and down. I am getting carried away with Hurley and Gumbleton, though, Doc.
Mhm.
Especially Hurley. 8 goals in 3 games.
Couple of cheap ones last week.
Yeah, but the goal's a goal, mate. 8 goals in 3
Stephen
games. First 3 games back. Hey, Stephen Milne, Hurley. Look, I reckon he's a real star of the future, Hurley. Good to see him sign with the Gold Coast. Woke up
No,
very...
he didn't sign.
not sign with
He
the
gave
Gold
them the
Coast.
gold
He
shoulder.
gave them the gold shoulder.
Thank you,
I
Harold Sutton.
loved waking up to that
One
one.
of our friends, Mark Robinson.
Yeah, one of our colleagues. The Bombers should win this one, despite the fact that Port's been a bit of a challenge for them in recent seasons. But the Bombers have to go 3 and 4 to keep those hopes alive. for the
Yeah,
finals.
Essendon for me, but only because it's at Etihad. Let's head up north for the Saturday night game at the Gabatoir.
Well, we
the
know.
Lions and the Dockers.
Oh, I'll cut you off nearly there.
Thanks a
Well,
lot.
we know how vulnerable the Lions have been away from home. So
Mm.
back at the Gabba, good chance to steady the ship. But it won't be easy pickings though, because Freo are very, very impressive. And like Collingwood, they have 4 or 5 young guns that have really just taken that boom step up this
Yep.
year. I want to make a special mention to D Mundy.
Yep.
10 tackles last week, Andy.
Nice hair too.
For me, 10 tackles is as good as 6 goals, mate. A couple of boys that might need 6 goals. Jay Brown and his boyfriend, Beaver Vola.
Yeah, one-way traffic there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to take some goals off them because the scoring of those two directly reflects how well the Lions do.
Doc's diagnosis.
Yeah, well, in the games where they've scored the lowest amount of goals together, they've been beaten by the most. The games where they've scored the most together, they've won by the most. So
Yeah.
it really is the barometer for the Lions.
I like Brisbane at the Gabatoir. Too good for mine, but I actually think Freo are the real deal.
Yeah, well, I think that as well, Andy. And based on the fact that they're $2.60, I'm going to have a little flutter on them. Brisbane at $1.55 if you want them punters.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Rich seems to be having second-year blues,
Mhm.
but Stephen Hill is having second-year purples.
Purples.
Purple patches, mate. Purple patches.
Very clever.
And he plays for Freo.
Oh,
so,
I like the linkage. I like
He's
it.
a genuine game breaker, I reckon. Another game, though, that we've been told to give the $5 short back and sides.
Mhm.
The old Buzzy B.
The Buzzy Barber treatment.
Is that where you get your haircut?
Well, looks like you got your haircut where I got my shirt from.
Oh
It's a
my
pineapple.
god. Wow, there you go. Jeepers creepers. His mum actually cuts his hair. Thanks for that, Kim Mays.